the more buttons and more other things you need to think about, it's going to disconnect you from your content, and your audience feels it.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the other thing.
For sure. I mean, how many times have you been in an event, a virtual event, and they're going, hold on, let me do this. I can't let somebody in. Joe, can you help me let somebody in? It's a total distraction.
Jill, please mute yourself.
Yeah, no. Total distraction from the event. Welcome to the Sold Out Sales Podcast, the podcast that will equip both the seasoned sales professional and the more reluctant seller with mindset shifts and strategies needed to succeed in a competitive marketplace. Welcome back to the Sold Out Sales Podcast. Today we are doing part 2 to network better. And the reason we started this short series is because on a regular basis, people will ask me questions about how can they network more effectively? How can they make money from their networking, right? Why are they seeing other people talk about how networking is like their game changer and the thing that really helps them in their business, and they're going, what the heck am I doing wrong? So I want to share with you how you can use networking as part of your sales process, the entry point to your sales process in a way that feels good to you, a way that actually works with your personality and not against it. So we're going to talk about that whole introvert extrovert thing as it pertains to networking. And most importantly, what are some of the ways that you can literally monetize your networking without coming across as a sleazy, salesy Susan, okay? So I'd invite you throughout the conversation to drop your comments. Tell me, what are the things that you love about networking? What are the things that you wish you knew? And if we say something that you're going, yes, that's working really well for me, I'd love to hear that as well. I have my girl Taylor here with me, our production specialist, our producer, who's gonna be also communicating with us today and talking to us, because the one thing I know about Taylor is she knows how to network, and she does it extremely well. So I'd love to have her expertise on this conversation. So when we left off last time, I think we were talking about the beginning of the networking experience, like getting to the door, what I called your pre-game routine, right? So now that you've arrived at the door, and once again, we could be talking about your actual physical networking event, conference, a room that you're walking into, or a virtual room, because I want you to see them as the same. Don't see it as I can act differently because I'm in a virtual networking room opposed to a physical one. Because if you don't maximize your opportunities in the virtual space, you're going to miss a chance, right? You're going to miss an opportunity. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm going to take a little bit of a deviation and share a little bit about how we work with Taylor with networking events that are online. I always want to make sure if I'm hosting an event online that I can be there with the people. So Taylor actually has a part of her company that helps with all the back end things in a virtual event. So just real quickly, for someone who's kind of thinking about doing that event, share how that can help someone to really be fully engaged if they're hosting an event.
Oh my gosh, having some sort of producer or facilitator just allows you to stay focused on your guests and your content and not being worried about the technical nuances of setting up breakout rooms, launching a poll, keeping people quiet who are being noisy. The more buttons and more other things you need to think about, it's going to disconnect you from your content, and your audience feels it.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the other thing.
For sure. I mean, how many times have you been in an event, a virtual event, and they're going, hold on, let me do this. I can't let somebody in. Joe, can you help me let somebody in? It's a total
Jill,
distraction.
please mute yourself.
Yeah, no. Total distraction from the event. So yes, we're talking about like going to events, but I want you to also start thinking about hosting your own networking events. I love hosting my own events because then I get to curate who I want in the room, first of all, and really control the conversation a little bit better. So definitely do that. And if you're going to do it, you want to get someone like Taylor and Eric to help you with that event, because it makes all the difference in the world. When you're at a networking event, you've decided that you've made that intentional decision. If you haven't watched last week's episode, make sure that you go back and take a listen, because you talked about the intentionality of networking, making sure that you set your intention of what you want the results to be because you've gone to this event, you've attended, right? So I will give you a couple of tips that sound kind of like, really? Why would I do that? And you'd be amazed at how much of a difference it makes. So when I first moved to Arizona, the first networking event that I attended, period, in the state of Arizona was ASBA, Arizona Small Business Association, I think what it stands for. They were having this conference. I went online, I looked it up, found out that they were having this conference like maybe week 2 that I'd gotten here. And all I did was I reached out and I asked, do you need any volunteers for your welcome table, your registration table? They were like, oh my God, yes. So I went, brand new, perfect stranger, and volunteered at the registration table. Let me tell you why that was important. I got to meet every single person that was coming to that event. Brand new to Arizona. And I can tell them, I'm here volunteering. Well, what do you do? I got a chance to share a little bit about what my expertise was in. I made so many great connections, some of which 11 years later, I still do business with, by the way. But it was a great way for me to get an introduction to the organization, for me to meet all of the people who were walking into that room, for me to make myself a resource. And the president of ASBA, she and I are still very well connected. We still talk on a regular basis. So just know that that's a great way, believe it or not, to position yourself at a networking event, especially if you are a little bit introverted and you're like, I don't want to go meet strangers. Believe it or not, that's the great way because you have a job. You don't have to meet people all willy-nilly. You're like, here's your registration badge. Let me get your name, da-da-da. You have a reason to be there. You don't have to kind of think up what you need to say. And it just puts you in the place where now when you see someone else where they're going to go, oh, I remember meeting you at that last event. And it just takes a lot of that pressure off. So even if you don't have a way or have time to volunteer, or that's not what you want to do, find another place where you can volunteer. A lot of events, they have like table topics, or they want to have somebody to kind of usher people to where the lunches are, whatever. Take some time to volunteer. Believe it or not, again, it makes you a resource to that organization that you're, maybe wanting to be a part of. Number 2, it gets you the chance to meet people without having to figure out what is it that you'd like to say, right? Those are the things that really have made a big difference for me.
That was a hack. That was a hack and a half.
I love it.
Like, people go to speed networking events,
Yep.
and you just had a speed networking event basically by being able to do the registration table.
Exactly.
Like, you literally had to meet everyone.
Every
That's
single
amazing.
person. Exactly. Yeah. And I got my name tag on.
Yeah.
And I just happened to. Let me just give a shout out to Roy Times because he gave me the best gift in my last name. So people tend to remember my name just because it's Tish Times, right? And so I have my little name tag on. I'm at the front desk and I'm cheerful and I'm, ready to do my job, and people remember you because of that. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely thought your last name was fake for a
while. People ask me every week.
That's such a great stage name.
So what's your real name? Tish Times. Happens.
Then I met Roy and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, for certain. The other hack of that is you not only get a chance to meet all the people in the room, because you're a part of the planning, execution committee, you get to meet the leaders in the organization. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to kind of pass the line, if you will. It's like, I want to go be a visitor at this group. I want to go do. No, you're actually interacting with people that are making decisions, who are seeing that you're ready to help, and they're going, hey, you want to be on this board? Guess what? I'm on the board of NABO. Guess why? Because I've made myself available for many, many years, right? And so it's just a great way, provides visibility, and it really stops you from having to be the person on the spot. Have you ever gone to a networking event or a conference and found that although you made great connections and you walked away with a stack full of business cards, you still didn't have a real plan for how to get a good return on your investment of both time and money? Well, let me tell you, having a networking and sales planner is a way for you to be more intentional about the way that you network.
Hey, I'm Susan Gladstein. I'm a functional nutrition and metabolism specialist, and I got connected with Tish because she is a rock star at systems and sales, and so I downloaded the planner to help get my brain organized as I went through a rebrand and launched a new course, and it's really helped me sort of get things out of my head and onto paper so that I can actually do follow-ups and not just rely on my brain. So far it's rocking my world and making my business systems that were non-existent actually have some sort of structure. So I love it. It's amazing. And I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed.
I've been working with sales professionals for almost 15 years. And one of the things that I find is that when they don't have a plan, they do nothing. They sit at their desk and wonder what to do. Well, with this networking and sales planner, you have profit producing activities for every single day of the week. It tells you where to go, what to say, even gives you prompts as to how to interact with people that you don't know. If you're an introvert and you feel like this isn't for you, I have already thought of you because I understand exactly how introverts think. So this gives you the tools enabling you to be armed with words, with language, so that you can make your networking more profitable.
Hey everyone, Rachel Neighbors here from solo401k.com. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about how awesome this sales networking planner is that Tish put out. So as you can see, I have it on my Remarkable. That's my sort of e-ink planner. And this sales planner has been so helpful for me. So I'm an old school pay-per-click marketer. I do Google ads, Facebook ads, and I know how to turn advertising into profit. But I didn't know how to turn network sales into profit. And when I met Tish, this woman literally wrote the book on networking called, Networking is Not a One-Night Stand. And she's put that experience and that energy and those valuable tips into this networking sales planner. And I just think that it can be so powerful for you in your business. I know it's been really helpful for me and mine. One thing that Tish told me is, Rachel, when you meet someone, put them into your planner and then follow up with them like they're a lead that you've generated on Google Ads or that you followed up with or that you've generated on Facebook. And that has been so helpful and transformative in my business. So thank you, Tish, for this awesome planner.
Maybe you don't even like networking. You say things like, networking doesn't work. Well, let me tell you, when you have a plan in place, you have some intention, and you have the tools to be able to make it work, you will see a different result. My new networking and sales planner is a game changer. It's the difference between you going to an event, wandering around and walking away without any purpose and without any new money, and walking into an event with a plan, with a purpose, and being able to convert new clients into your business. No one wants to feel inauthentic and pushy or even salesy when following up. So frequently we just don't do it at all. Well, the profitable follow-up formula, which is in the back of your networking and sales planner, will give you the tools and the language and the frequency with which you should be following up so that it feels very authentic. It feels genuine and natural both to you and to the people that you're reaching out to. Go to tishtimes.com/planner to get your digital or physical version of your planner.
Hi, my name is Cheryl James from CL James Consulting, and I just want to tell you a little bit about how awesome this networking sales planner is. I started intentionally networking at the beginning of this year, and I have been using my planner on a regular basis, not only to get inspiration, but to track the people I want to meet and the people I have met, and to make sure that I follow up with them from week to week. So if you are looking to network intentionally and hold yourself accountable, this planner is a must-have.
And once you get your planner, you'll also receive a video series that's going to teach you how to maximize your networking and how to use this planner to get the best result and best return on your investment of both time and money. If you are ready to stop wasting time with networking and turn your networking into a sales machine, then go to tishtimes.com/planner and grab your networking and sales planner. But if you want to be the person on the spot, let me tell you another way to really hack your way in, if you will, is pretend you're hosting the event. Let me tell you what I mean by that. That means you make it your business to welcome people, to maybe show them, hey, did you see that they have, free drinks at this place, or, there's this going on. Just be the hostess, if you will. You're not taking over. You're not doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, but make yourself just really invaluable at that event, to where people are like, oh my God, thank you. I didn't know that that's where that was happening. I didn't know that I should have gone over here and grabbed my badge or whatever. But just introduce yourself to people, make business suggestions, make introductions, be the party planner, be the party host. And once again, it gives you kind of like a job, and you feel like, okay, I'm here to do something, opposed to I have to go meet a bunch of people. All right, the next thing I want to ask you to consider shifting your mindset around is you want to shift it from I'm going to find new clients to I'm going to cultivate new relationships. And if you see yourself as a connector, if you see yourself as someone who's literally just curious and you want to learn about people and you have no attachment to the end result in that moment, it changes the game. And again, it takes all the pressure off. Right? How many of you all have felt that pressure of, I'm going to this event, especially, and I'll tell you, especially if you work for a company and your company has said you need to meet this quota, you need to have this many people that you've, connected with and made an offer to or whatever. If you're able to do this well and do it consistently, you can still meet that quota, but you're going to do it in a way that really feels good. And it doesn't cause people to be turned off by you. If anything, they're more excited about getting to know you and interacting with you because of the way that you interact with them. Someone just told me yesterday, thank you for creating an environment that made me feel like I could just be myself. And I was like, I'm so glad you said that, because that's just what I'm here for, right? That's what we're really wanting to do. And so you want to shift your focus from client acquisition only to actually cultivating relationships, and be willing to take the time it takes to build those relationships. That means that intentionality we talked about from the beginning, talking about just intention around getting to the event. You also need to be intentional about building those relationships. And what is that going to take? Are you going to put a follow-up process in place, right? Are you going to be willing to get on a call with that person and just be curious about who they are? How did they enter their field? What is it that they're trying to achieve in their role? Really being curious, it will make all the difference in the world. I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again today. If you'll slow down your process, you'll speed up your results. Be willing to invest the time it takes to cultivate great relationships, because at some point you're going to look up and you're going to go, oh my God, I have such an amazing network. Well, that network doesn't happen by accident. It happens with intention, right? So I don't want you to fall into the trap of trying to be someone you're not. So if I'm an introvert, which I am, I'm not going to look over at someone who's just like gregarious and they're the life of the party and doing all the things and feel like I have to be like that person in order to gain new clients. In all honesty, I'm going to be that person at that front desk being like, hi, here's your thing. And I can communicate with them in a way that's really me. It's sincerely who I am. I'm not trying to be someone else. We can be overwhelmed if you are introverted and you're going to events because you think you have to, which is why I give you the option of going to virtual events or hosting your own small events, because if you're at these events and it feels overwhelming and you just want to get out of there, you're not going to go as frequently as you ought to, and you're probably going to feel like it was a waste of your time, right? So even when I go to big events, so an organization called eWomen that I was a member of for many, many years, still love it. I'm just not currently plugged in, but I've talked to our local membership person. I probably will be at some point. But one of the things I loved about their event that they do every single year in Dallas was that I got a chance to connect with all of my, my sister girls around the globe and so on and so forth. But what I did not like was that there's about 2,000 women at this conference, and it can be extremely overwhelming. And I would find myself walking into a corner and sitting down somewhere and hiding because I just needed a moment to myself. But what I started to do when I realized, you know what, this isn't fun for me anymore, I began to change the way that I approached that event. And I would say to myself, okay, with each day that we're there, because it's a 5-day event with thousands of people, it could be a lot. I would say, okay, I'm going to go. And this is my intention. Every day, an 8-hour day, mind you, I'm going to meet 3 people. And during those conversations are going to be deep connections, people that I actually want to have a secondary conversation with, someone that I actually feel like I can be of service to, I can contribute to this conversation in a meaningful way. And when I gave myself permission to just make 3 valuable connections opposed to trying to make 35 or 50 or whatever, it just shifted the way I felt about that event. And I gave myself permission to go out to my room and take breaks when I needed to and not go to every single session that was being offered. It shifted the way that I did things. So I'm giving you permission to network in a way that really works for your personality, that works for the way that you communicate, that doesn't make you feel overwhelmed, but also gives you the ability to be successful, right? To have really great results, but not at the cost of your energy and the way that you really want to be able to show up. So have fun, but don't allow your need to engage to outweigh the result that you ultimately want to get. Are y'all hearing me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Right? Being able to engage in a way that just, it feels like you. You're not trying to be someone that you're not, right?
Yeah, no, you want to be your authentic self the whole way through and through. So don't do any kind of comparison of, like the extrovert that's just going around and is loud and everything. If you just want to do your one-to-one conversations with someone, find those couple someones.
Do it.
And say that was a success.
That was it. I'm like, instead of making more connections, make better connections. Mm-hmm. That's what I would rather you do. Make better connections. The last thing that I want to share with you are the things that help me to know how to communicate with someone at an event so that it is most impactful, it's most meaningful, and it actually tends to end up in me having a second connection that eventually ends up to me doing business. It's me being really clear about my ideal clients. So those of y'all who've been hanging out with me for a while, you know these people. I talk about them all the time. These are my avatars. And having this clear picture of my ideal clients and creating these avatars help me to know who I'm talking to and how I should engage with them. So the first one is based on me as well as a few of clients that I've had over the years. First one is Introvert Irene. And Introvert Irene is that person she's in the room because she needs to be in the room, but she's probably not engaging with a lot of people because it just feels like it's too much. She's not telling a lot of people about her product or service because it just is uncomfortable for her. So I know how to engage with Introvert Irene based on who she is, right? Then there's Networking Nancy, who's at all of the events, who's in all of the Facebook pictures, but she probably isn't making a lot of income from her networking because she doesn't have the plan we're talking about today. She doesn't understand how to connect her networking with her revenue, with her profit. And then last but not least, there's Sales Leader Susan. And Sales Leader Susan is in charge of a sales team. And she is responsible for motivating them and making sure that they have the plan to be able to really increase the revenue for their company. So when I know those people, when I'm at an event or I'm, in someone's presence, I'm not talking to Introvert Irene like she's Sales Leader Susan because it's going to turn her off. And I'm not talking to Networking Nancy like she's Sales Leader Susan because the likelihood is she's not even relating to me. And so understanding these things will help you be more successful in those rooms wherever you find yourself so that they can resonate with you. You can speak a language that they're able to understand, and it'll lead to you having better follow-up conversations. So I don't know when, but we're going to have a part 3 because I got to get you the post-game routine as well. So stay tuned, keep an eye out, and make sure that you come back next week. I'm going to ask you to do this. Implement something you learned today. It will make all the difference in your business if you're taking what we're talking about, putting it into practice, networking better, seeing greater results. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Sold Out Sales Podcast. I would be so appreciative if you would show me and my amazing guests some love by leaving a review on your favorite podcasting platform. Also, go over to tishtimes.com/resource page and make sure you pick up your sales and networking handbook, especially for introverts. Also, I'd love to continue this conversation, so make sure you connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'll see you back here next week.